Hi, my new listeners. It's Jazz. I'm back again with Let's Talk About It. So, let's talk about it. Let's talk about relationships. I had a friend that was in a relationship for, I'm going to say 10 years. And she had 4 kids by him. And he had a really bad drug addiction, which was synthetic marijuana and alcohol. And he just couldn't get off it. And I grew up with this girl. I've known her since we were like 15. I'm 30, 31. But I recently had to start setting those boundaries and cutting her off because of what her old man would do. He would just do a lot of stuff that just didn't make sense. And in my opinion, I'm just like, okay, yeah, y'all got history together, y'all got 4 kids together, but why sit up there and stay for the abuse? Like, I know no woman don't want to get beat on every day, all day, or belittled or ridiculed and verbal abused, mentally abused, and then the kids are watching that, and they're watching y'all go back and forth, physically fight each other, cuss each other out, slam the doors, so now you're causing trauma for your kids. And they're going to think that that's acceptable. They're living in a household to where they have to walk on eggshells. And like I said, it took a long time for me to learn boundaries to say, hey, this is not okay. I don't want to be a part of this. I want to leave. This is not what I want to do. Like, I can be your friend and love you from a distance. That's fine. But other than that, like, no, we don't have no type of connection. And I'm not gonna lie, it hurted a little bit because, like I said, we were friends for like 15 years. Like, I watched her, have kids and stuff. I've known her kids since they were like babies, and it was so just toxic. And then one day they talked about wanting to be in a three-way relationship or a relationship. I don't know. But it was weird. The whole topic was weird. And I was just like, nah, I'm not feeling that. That's weird. Because I've known you since I was 15. So, why now? And it's like, I get it. Couples want to, try something different, spice up, the bedroom life or whatever. But it's like, with a guy that has an addiction, when you have a loved one or a partner that has an addiction and you feed off into that addiction as well, because then you become addicted to something, trying to cope with his addiction and his actions when he is on drugs or alcohol. So now you need to find something to cope. And it was just like a really, really fucked up cycle. It was a really bad cycle. And they had been doing that for years. And it just didn't make sense to me. Because I'm like, and it's the fact that she would sit and she would cry. Oh, but his people, they don't mess with me. This is that and the third. His family don't mess with me. They're trying to come after my kids. They're trying to call CPS, whatever the case may be. And one day, I ended up getting evicted, okay? Which is normal. I mean, everybody got evicted at least once in their life. Once. That was a lesson learned. Never again. But, yeah. So I ended up getting evicted. And I was in a headspace to where I was smoking some good stuff, okay? Some good ganja. To where I literally forgot that I was getting evicted. I woke up like it was another day. And my grandfather called me and was like, hey, Jazz, you ready? I said, Papa, ready for what? And he said, baby, you're getting evicted today. You didn't remember that? No, I didn't. I didn't. So, the same homegirl that I'm talking about, she pulls up to the apartment complex as me and my grandfather and my cousin are putting stuff on the back of my papa's stroller or whatever, and they was like, yeah, you come stay with us or whatever, and I dropped my stuff off to my mom's house, my grandmother's house, and just held it until I got another place, which was only 2-3 months all after the fact I got evicted. So I was staying with them. I was staying with the girl that I was cool with, or whatever. And it was cool at first or whatever. And I paid them, I think, like $200, like, towards whatever bills that they had. And I'm the type of person to where if my family is in need, I'm going to go do what I got to do. Point blank, period. Like, I don't care. Or whatever. Like, I'm going to get it done. And it was this one time to where my sister, I think she needed a light bill paid or something like that. But I had just got my check. I had just got paid. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to pay the light bill. Or whatever. So I paid her light bill, my little sister light bill. Because I didn't want her lights to be off and I didn't want my baby sister to be in the dark. So yeah, I sent the money and helped her pay a light bill. I go in the living room and you can feel the tension, like, in the room. You can feel the tension. Like, you can cut that shit with a knife, like a butter knife. You can feel the tension in the room. So my homegirl is sitting on the couch on the opposite side of the living room, on her phone, not paying no attention. The dude, the baby daddy, or whatever, come at me sideways talking about, hey, if you don't pay that $200, you got to get out and find you someplace to stay. So, but he just said it in a nasty tone, so I already knew he was drinking. So I'm looking, and I'm like, okay, dude, whatever. Alright, cool. So I look over at my homegirl. She didn't say nothing. I mean, she just sat there as if he didn't even say anything. First off, why your dude checking me? You don't let your dude check me. If we're friends, don't let your dude come at me sideways. That's how I feel. If you're my friend, you step me to the side and be like, hey, Jazz, this, that, and the third, da-da-da. Okay, cool. I would have understood it coming from you because you're my homegirl. But to let your dude do it and do the dirty work and talk to me crazy and then you just sit there and you condone it and you don't say nothing. Obviously, in my mind, yeah, there's some pillow talk that been going around that I don't know about. So I had made the decision to just up and leave and go. And it was definitely my time to go and stay way longer than I expected. Oh, there was this one story to where I was almost at the end of my rope with them, but that broke the straw for me. So one day I was at work and I was working with a client that was wheelchair bound because he ended up catching a stroke or whatever. So I get a call while I'm at work, and it's my homegirl, the one that I'm staying with temporarily. And she's calling me hysterical, crying, boo-hoo-hooing. I couldn't even understand what she was saying because she was crying and just screaming on the phone. And I'm like, hold on. I was like, hey, slow down. Tell me what happened. What's the problem? So she told me, oh, okay, well, one of my kids lied and said that my baby daddy did something to them and they gonna end up taking my kids away from me. And turns out it was the niece she had been raising since she was a baby or whatever, because that's how long we've known each other. So it was the niece that lied on her baby daddy and said that he done something to her or whatever while he was drunk or intoxicated. I don't know. But I get back home. I finished my shift that afternoon and I get back home and CPS is standing there. And they like, are you such and such? And I was like, yes, ma'am. So she was like, do you mind being a safety net for the children until the CPS investigation is closed? I said, okay. I was like, okay, but what does that entail? And she was like, a safety net is basically to keep in place that the children are safe with you present in the home and the baby daddy is not allowed to come back or be around the niece. Okay? Because the niece is the one, well, my homegirl's niece is the one that made the accusation, the one that she been raising. So I was like, okay. And she was like, he can see his biological kids, but it has to be supervised, and it can be in a public area, such as McDonald's or a park. He can see his biological children, but he couldn't see the niece, because the niece is the one that made the allegations. So, all after that, sign the paper. The lady leave, the CPS lady, she leave, caseworker. So, baby daddy pack his stuff, and he leave, or whatever. So, I'm sitting there, and I'm like, something don't sound right. So I was like, okay, I say, well, let me talk to the niece. Or whatever, let me talk to the niece, see what's going on. Because with kids, you can't browbeat them into telling the truth, or yelling at them, because that's going to only make them more scared, and then they're not going to tell you nothing at all. So, because I am a mandated reporter, I know how this goes, and I know how to talk to kids, because we deal with a lot of kids when it comes to working with the state. So I asked her, like, hey, did he do anything or whatever that made you feel uncomfortable? Or did he touch you and made you feel uncomfortable? And she was like, yes, ma'am, he did. And he did touch her or whatever. Now, my homegirl is sitting on the opposite side of the couch in the living room. And she's like, oh, that's whenever he was on that mojo. And I looked like my mouth hit the floor. I was like, girl, what? And most likely the little girl had told her this before. So obviously my homegirl knew about it and didn't say nothing. So that was another shocker. So, as I'm trying to go take a shower and wind down from work the same exact day, my homegirl we go in the hallway, and my homegirl tells me, such and such, we gonna call her Sydney. So she talking to me in the hallway, and she tell me that Sydney gonna have to change her story. So I said, what? I said, change her story. And she was like, yeah, Sydney gonna have to change her story. I said, why? If it's true, why change it? I'm not understanding. Like, I didn't understand, because in my mind, I'm like, you really sitting up here protecting your baby daddy. Like, you're protecting him, and he's a predator. He don't know what he does whenever he's under the influence. And being around small children, that is dangerous and alarming. And if you don't see those alarms going off as bells and whistles, baby, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. I don't know what to tell you. But for you to tell me that we're going to have to go in there and tell Sydney to change her story and tell her that I didn't tell her nothing. My homegirl did. To tell her that, yeah, you got to change your story if you don't want, baby daddy to be locked up and go to jail or whatever. So, the homegirl coerced her to change her story and tell CPS that she lied and that it didn't happen. And that was the straw that broke for me. And I think within maybe, I want to say another month or so, maybe 2 months, that's whenever I found me a house, paid my deposit. Next paycheck came 2 weeks after that. I paid my rent, signed my lease, and moved in. They didn't even know that I had left the house. That's how bad I got away from that house and how quick I got away from that house. Because it was just too much. It was just way too much. And it was too much with him, with the fucked up attitude that he had whenever he was drinking or was under the influence. Like, it was just a lot. And it was a lot the fact that she condoned in it and didn't care. That's the part that made me look at myself like, I can't be friends with nobody like that. Honestly, I can't. I can't be friends with nobody like that. If you're going to be in a relationship like that and back him 100% everything that he do wrong, I can't be friends with you like that. Because at the end of the day, he could do no wrong. At the end of the day, y'all could get into a fight. And I mean fist fighting, throwing hands. And it's okay, he can come back home. You done kicked him out in 20 degree weather. But he could come back home for his child's birthday party. Which he didn't show up to, by the way. After he got kicked out. Didn't show up to his child's birthday party. Nothing. Couldn't take the kids trick-or-treating. Nothing. That was how sad he was. That was how salty he was. Because he could not get his way. Because of something that he wanted. Yeah, that's... Boy, when I say let's talk about it, and I'm telling you, I got a lot of more stories to come. A lot of stories to come. Because that's just only the tip of the iceberg, I promise you. But yeah, once I moved out, like I said, I started therapy. I got diagnosed with some stuff, and I started taking my mental health seriously, staying on my medications, doing therapy, talking to my therapist, and setting boundaries of, just having to stay away from people that don't mean me no good at all, to where I don't need to be caught up in those situations. Because I'm single, I ain't got no kids, nothing is tying me down. The only thing that's stopping me is me. Or the only thing that's really stopping me is the people that I hang around with. And that had to stop. And I recently ended up in another situation, but yeah, that's another long story to tell too. But yeah. So yeah, let's talk about it. If anybody is following or listening to this podcast, then yeah, give me some feedback. Give me some feedback, some questions that you would want as a topic for me to talk about. But yeah, toxic relationships are worse. It's when you're being toxic with just you and your partner, and it's a toxic relationship. But when you have kids and you bring kids into it, it's traumatizing them kids too. So now them kids got trauma. And they got trauma because y'all can't be adults and get y'all shit together and do what y'all supposed to do. If y'all that toxic, y'all don't need to be together. Because the only thing y'all doing is scaring y'all kids. And y'all making y'all kids think that is acceptable and that is okay. That's how that's how mom is supposed to be treated. Okay, well that's how dad is supposed to be treated. Okay, so when I eventually grow up and get a girlfriend, the same way my daddy treated my mama, I mean, it's only fair because I'm used to seeing it. So that's the only thing that I know. And it's traumatizing to a child. But yeah. And refusing to get your child therapy, oh, it's another stickler for me that grinds my gears. Because if you know that your child is struggling and having a hard time, don't think or look at it as like, oh, they just attention seeking. There's nothing wrong with them. Da 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 da. They're lying. They just making up shit to get attention. Sometimes that might not be the case. They might just be unhappy within the home that they stay in because it's constantly toxic. It's a toxic environment. That child is stressed out to the max. She needs and wants to talk to somebody to get it out. But she can't because the parent want to hold everything in. And it's kind of, like I said, brought back to that statement or whatever that from my last podcast of what black parents say in households, what happens in this house stays in this house. So it's kind of like that. And I mean, it's kind of therapeutic for me because, like I said, I ain't talked to the girl in a year. Like, when I'm telling you I cut her off. Like, I blocked her on all social medias. I blocked her on text message. And I think she gave me some money for my birthday this past July. But yeah, I don't even know what that's for. And it was so odd because, like I said, we haven't talked since like January. Yeah, when I had my bowel obstruction and almost died. And she stayed down the street from the hospital. Literally, she could walk to her driveway and look to the left and she could see the emergency room. But never came see me. And I stayed in there for a week. And she made it seem like it was nonchalant. Like, oh yeah, nah, you're gonna be okay, you good. I was close to death. And that was a straw. that broke me. Like, that really hurted my feelings. It did. It hurted my feelings because we were good friends. We grew up together. And for her to say, oh, you're fine, I don't have time to come and see you. Okay, bet. Cool. Cool. Keep that same energy. And I blocked her on everything. I blocked her, stopped talking to her. Because I ain't got nothing for you. Because a real friend would show up. And she didn't. And that was selfish. And I still never got an apology. No nothing. So, like I said, I just chalked it up to everything as a life lesson. And I let it go. I let it go and I let her go. And whatever she doing now, I hope that she doing good. But, yeah, that don't have nothing to do with me no more. But yeah, I cut off a lot of relationships and started setting a lot of boundaries for myself of what I'm not going to tolerate and sit through no longer because I don't have to. I can leave. I can walk away. I don't have to explain anything. You don't need an explanation. If I want to get up and go, I'm going to get up and go. If I say this friendship is not for me and we not cool no more, that's it. There is no explanation. I don't owe you that. Especially if you did me dirty. I really don't owe you that. But yeah, let me go ahead and get off of this. But yeah, like I said, this is Let's Talk About It. And I will catch y'all in the next podcast episode, hopefully. So yeah.